Hello and welcome to Yap Rituals, the segment mostly for Instagram where I cannot take it anymore and feel the need to rant about something. Just going to get down to it. Spotify. We all use it, both as listeners and as artists. This is mostly going to be from an artist-centric perspective. Yeah, we're all on that shit. And everybody seems to fucking hate it. What's up with that? Yeah, so just gonna get into it. The big news these days, and I have notes here if you see me fucking around with this. Yeah, like artists are leaving Spotify. Everybody's fed up. And I know I'm getting pretty fed up with it too. I imagine I'm not alone if you're watching this. The final nail for a lot of people was when the news came out recently that Spotify's CEO, Daniel Ek, had invested almost $700 million into an AI-based defense contracting company. Also, if I seem insanely sweaty and glistening, it's because it's hot as fuck down here and I had to turn the fans off to record this. So, whatever. But yeah, Daniel Ek has entered the defense contracting industry and combined it with more AI bullshit because nobody's had enough of that yet. The company is called Helsing. They raised about $700 million in funding via Daniel Ek's venture capital firm Prima Materia. Their main product is an AI algorithm that basically takes general like battlefield, like just digital data from like weapon systems and sensors and whatever, and uses it to kind of make decisions for combat. What could go wrong there? And then of course, because you got to play the game, their other product is a combat drone. Because you got to have one of those. We haven't had enough. So, yeah. Ever since that, bands have been saying, I'm out. The first notable one was the band Deerhoof. I think they kind of really kicked this whole thing off. I looked up what other ones have left. Big one was King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Good band. That is a big loss for in terms of the amount of material that was pulled off the platform, because they have like 10,000 albums. Young Widows, that really sucks. I fucking love that band. And Godspeed You Black Emperor. People have had enough. And I've had enough. I canceled my premium subscription, and I don't really miss it. There's been price increases the last couple of years. I will say to their credit, and I have this written down here, from 2011 to 2023, the price actually did not increase. It was $9.99. And then every year since then, it's gone up. I think they're trying to offset the fact that I don't think they've ever actually like made a profit. I mean, in terms of like the company and operating. The fact remains is, you know, the royalty payouts from Spotify are famously very low, almost nothing. It's such a paltry fragment of a cent. It's basically nothing, and especially for independent artists, because bigger artists and major labels actually get a bigger portion of Spotify's royalty pool, they call it. So like really big artists like Taylor Swift, who are already not hurting for money, are actually getting paid more per stream than you are, because major labels have deals with Spotify. So that's a long thing. There's other videos about that. But yeah, they don't pay anything. And the thing is, they don't produce anything. If you're a musician and you have music on Spotify, you are like generating the product. You know, they don't, it's the same way like Uber doesn't own cars. You own a car. So Daniel Ek is running off with your product and your money and laughing at you all the way to the bank because he fucking hates you. He really hates music. Anytime he has a take on music specifically, it's always like one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. A few years ago, he said that it was like a complete waste of time. I'm paraphrasing. A waste of time to like release an album every couple of years. More and more, they've moved towards emphasizing like more of a single-oriented output model, because shit like that increases virality or whatever. Spotify at its core is not a music company, it's an advertising company. I think Daniel Ek would have sold anything. It's just like a vessel to give you ads for like Athletic Greens or whatever the fuck. So yeah, it's just such an anti-music company. And where do we go from here? Well, a lot of people say Bandcamp, and there are advantages to that. Bandcamp is really easy to sign up for, and you can just upload your shit and it's free. Whereas Spotify relies on third-party distribution. I hear my dog walking around upstairs. Third-party distributors like TuneCore and DistroKid, CD Baby. And it's funny, like, I realized, like, oh my God, I pay more every year to host my music on Spotify than I've ever made from Spotify. And DistroKid's pricing scheme is pretty fucked up, actually, if you have more than one band. For one artist, it's $25 a year. They break it down monthly, but they bill you yearly. So $25, two bands, $45, okay. More than that, and you have to go to the label plan, which is $90 a year. And I have 3 different projects on there, and I got dinged with that bill on my birthday, because that's when that renews, apparently. So Bandcamp avoids that pitfall. And yeah, it's just like, I mean, Bandcamp very much dominated the 2010s. Like, especially in certain music scenes, Bandcamp was kind of the dominant thing where like it could make or break you. Not through like going viral in the 2020 sense, but like just a lot of people through word of mouth or internet blog posts, whatever, being like, hey, this album is free and it rules. Bandcamp in particular was very big in like the 2010s emo revival scene. That was when you started seeing like labels put their shit on there, like you know, like Top Shelf Records' entire catalog, I believe, was like on there. And the bands themselves like would usually have their stuff with the pay what you want model, or just charge money for it outright. So why not just go all in on that? Well, I'm wary for a couple reasons. For one thing, in 2022, March of 2022, Bandcamp was acquired by Epic Games, which most people know through being the creators of Fortnite, but I choose to remember them for creating this, Unreal. But whatever. They got bought by Epic Games for some reason, and it's really unclear what that was all about. No one's... It boggles the mind why Epic Games like decided to go into the music business, but whatever. They did, and I guess it did not go too well because about 18 months later, they sold it. They sold it to Songtradr, a music licensing company that I've never heard of in my life. And they proceeded to lay off 870 employees, or about 16% of their staff. And also, before that, a lot of Bandcamp employees were attempting to unionize, and pretty much everybody that was part of the union organizing effort got fired. And they still have not recognized the union. Beyond that, I don't know, like, this is a personal opinion, but I've found like Bandcamp's app on my phone for trying to like listen to music to be extremely not elegant. I don't know, I just think it kind of sucks, but that's just me. I know some people use it. I know some people use that primarily. But yeah, it's a little clunky. And also there's the issue of it just having a smaller user base. You know, that can obviously change, and we can encourage people to change. But given the buying and selling and people getting fired at bandcamp and just like the uncertain future of it, I'm not really sure if that's the basket we should have all our eggs in. Unclear at this point, but it's something out there and you can do it today. If you're a musician watching this, you probably already have one. We have one. Don't really use it a whole lot, but our stuff's on there. And every once in a while, I'll get like $1 or a couple bucks for something. So that's cool. But I don't think it's really the salvation we're looking for. I don't really think there is one. If you were watching this hoping I would find like a solution to these problems, unfortunately that's not the case, but I would love to get a discussion going. And, you know, I think more than anything, just have to like en masse like change the way we're doing shit. Everybody's sick of like these really crappy in-shitified services like Spotify and the various social media platforms and algorithms, and getting into the weeds with like broader topics here, but I think we just need to like kind of just use the internet differently. There's a really great video essay I watched recently called Be Your Own Algorithm. I'll put the thumbnail here. That isn't about this specifically, but it's a great commentary on just existing on the internet as a whole. And I think that could really tie in with this, because, like, you know, I feel like we just got to go back to a simpler way of doing shit. Like, you can still download MP3s. Like, the Bandcamp streaming app sucks, but, like, you can still download shit. And, I mean, hey, these still exist. This works. I don't have the charger for it right now, but it does work. I actually used to primarily put MP3s on my phone, but over the years, as the phone's storage went up, like this is like 256 gigabytes, the process of getting MP3s onto the phone sucked more and more, because you had to use iTunes, and it sucked. But it was doable, and I did that regularly up until shockingly recently. It was probably up until maybe 2018, 19, that I finally just stopped doing that and went all in on streaming, and kind of sucked. But I mentioned that I canceled my premium subscription. I didn't sign up for anything else, but, and this ties in with being your own algorithm, I already had YouTube Premium, because just have to. I'm like a big YouTube head. I have that, and I use it primarily for, I mean, at home on the TV and whatnot, but primarily listening to stuff while I'm at work, because they have to sell you for $15 a month the feature of being able to lock your phone while playing a video and having the audio keep going. But it's worth it for me. I like to listen to a lot of video essays, and ever since I canceled Spotify, it's become my main music listening platform, and there's a lot of shit on there, and it's really cool because it's a little bit more curated by individuals. Like sometimes you'll find like an account that has like a lot of really good albums and mixes and all kinds of cool shit. Like I've been discovering more music just in the last 2 months since I canceled Spotify than I think I ever did in like the years of using Spotify. In fact, I can only think of one band that I found purely through Spotify, or actually, no, two bands purely through Spotify being like, here you go. Anyway, yeah, YouTube, there's a lot of good shit on there, and I've also heard, citation needed, but the payouts are better, so I've heard. And you know, you can actually go into the rabbit hole and find shit, and it's like curated by you and people like you rather than whatever shitty AI algorithm Daniel Ek has cooked up. So that's something to consider. Did I forget anything from my notes here? No. So, yeah, things are bleak. It sucks being a musician these days in so many ways. Like, it's great, and it's like the only thing I probably truly enjoy, but it sucks in this like current state of the internet. Unrelated, related, but not related to Spotify specifically. Like, just getting your bag as an artist is nigh impossible. And there's so much money. Like, everybody else is getting rich off this except you. You know, I remember during the big like NFT grift a couple years ago, people were touting it as like, oh, it's a way for artists to get paid. It's like, what was stopping you before? Like, just pay them. Like, that's another thing. Like, it's so easy to just give money to bands you like. Like, if you see me, you should give me $10. Like, I
insist.
But yeah, I mean, like, if you like being for real, like, if you Cash App us, I'll like Dropbox you our entire discography, including some unreleased stuff. Whatever. I think that should be a thing too. Just like Cash Apping and Dropboxing each other music. Like, cut out all the middleman. It's just from me to you. And you know, we've all got a damn merch table. Just give it. And if you cannot see a band in person to give them money, find them, hunt them down,
and give them $10.
That's probably more than they've made on Spotify like all year, if they're your average like lunch pail and like time clock band, like thugging that shit out on the streets. So yeah, that's all I've got for today. Thank you.